It's clobbering time.
Jonathan Spencer Storm, also known as the Human Torch, is one of the most powerful superheroes in the entire Marvel Universe, and he's had a pretty wild ride so far. He gained his powers after being exposed to cosmic radiation, and he mutated into a superpowered being and one of the founding members of the iconic Fantastic Four. After his accident, Storm's entire body turned into fiery plasma, and he gained several powers ranging from pyrokinesis to energy absorption. While some of these powers are pretty well documented, the Human Torch also has some fascinating hitting powers as well, and today we're going to be exploring some of his most underrated abilities. Before we get into this explanation though, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but to us it means an awful lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Origins of the Human Torch. Johnny Storm was born to a physician, Franklin Storm, and his wife Mary, and had a seemingly normal childhood in New York City. He had an older sister named Susan, and they lived quite happily until his mother passed away in a car accident. His father made several attempts to repair her body, but he couldn't bring her back to life, and this sent him into a downward spiral. He resorted to alcoholism and gambling, and eventually got into trouble with a loan shark that he killed, even if he claimed that he did it in self-defense. After his arrest, Jonathan and Susan, or Sue, were sent to live with their aunt, and the sibling duo grew up taking care of each other. In his teen years, Johnny met a scientist named Reed Richards and then volunteered to help him in an experiment where they would travel through space in an experimental rocket. His sister accompanied them, and they were supposed to fly to the stars, but the rocket didn't function properly and malfunctioned due to cosmic radiation. While they crashed back on Earth's surface, the team, including Reed Richards, Sue, and the pilot Benjamin J. Grimm, realized that they had all gained superpowers. Johnny could burst into flames and fly around, and the four then came together to form the Fantastic Four, using their powers for the betterment of humanity. When they formed the team, the Human Torch was still quite young and rebellious, and he would end up making impulsive, brash decisions, not just for himself, but for the entire team. While Sue tried to talk sense into him, Johnny had difficulty following Reed Richards' orders, and he ended up leaving and rejoining the team on numerous occasions. In one such instance, he was all alone at a bar when he spotted the rest of the team, and he ended up stumbling into an amnesiac while trying to avoid them. He had a growing suspicion as he spent more time with the man, and he wanted to see if he was correct, so he dropped him into the ocean to confirm whether or not he was actually Namor, the king of the sea. Soon enough, Johnny learned all about Atlantis' destruction and Namor's war against those who live on the surface, and then he had no choice but to reunite with the Fantastic Four to bring him down. Throughout his story arc, despite his rebellious attitude, the Human Torch often worked on learning new skills and pushing himself to maximize his potential, so let's have a look at some of his more fantastic abilities. Number 1. Nova Flame. To kick off the list, the Human Torch has the impressive ability to generate a nova flame, which can reach about 1,000,000 degrees Fahrenheit and burn through nearly any substance. He does this by increasing his flame's temperature to its maximum potential, and the upper limit of this flame's heat is still unknown. While creating the nova flame, Jonathan can stay aflame for up to 16.8 hours, as it takes up more energy than his ordinary flame. So far, he's managed to reach about 1,000,000 degrees Fahrenheit, a temperature that's equivalent to the heat pulse of a nuclear warhead detonation. To put things into perspective, the Nova Flame's power level is more or less the same temperature as the surface of the sun. The Human Torch also claims to be able to destroy a small moon with his Nova Flame, but such an exorbitant display of power also takes a huge toll on his body. He ends up using all of his energy reserves to create a Nova Flame, but he requires at least half a day to recover from it. Number 2. Energy Absorption and Redirection. Johnny can absorb all forms of energy, especially heat and fire, and then redirect them at his opponents. This allowed him to extinguish fires by absorbing the energy from them, or even using these flames and converting them into his flame. Jonathan could further shape the flames into streams or spheres after absorbing the fire energy, but he did require a whole lot of concentration to maintain these shapes. Typically, these shapes burned out in about 3 minutes unless Jonathan added some more flame to retain their shapes. Number 3. Multiple flame-constructed replicas. It's a fact that the Human Torch has mastered his control over fire, and it's pretty admirable to see him constantly trying out new tricks to expand his potential. He revealed a whole new ability in the form of multiple flame-constructed replicas of himself in Fantastic Four number 9. In this story arc, he works alongside the Invisible Woman and Alicia Masters Grimm to defeat an alien entity known as Zargor. Initially, Sue Storm's force fields provide them enough protection from Zargor's mind control, but things soon get out of hand. In this situation, Jonathan uses his powers to conjure 4 flame-constructed replicas of himself and refers to them as the Fantastic Four. This incident was also a reference to a previous comic issue where Johnny had conjured up his first flame replica, Flamo. Number 4. Pyrokinesis. The Human Torch earned his name due to his fiery powers, meaning he was a master of pyrokinesis. He has the mental ability to control ambient heat energy as well as the physical capability to transform his entire body into a fiery plasma state. While the cells of a normal human body convert food into a form of energy, Jonathan's body could create more forms of energy containing the adenine riboheptaphosphine molecule. Due to the presence of this complex molecule, Johnny's body could create large quantities of latent chemical bonding energies that could be converted into a plasma-like state. In this way, he could take on a fiery form, and these molecules could be regulated by one's will, which made it convenient for Jonathan to control them with his mind. He once even used this power to superheat his own bodily temperature to burn out any toxins after he'd been poisoned. In another scenario, Dr. Doom overloaded him with cosmic energy, and he could then create fire without even needing oxygen. Of course, Jonathan has to be a bit careful while playing with fire, and he has to keep a sharp eye out to avoid water or any other substances that might snuff out his flame. Number 5. Plasma form. In extreme situations, Johnny is capable of enveloping his entire body in superheated plasma that is released in the form of flames after coming in contact with oxygen. These plasma flames ranged from low intensity to extremely high temperatures, wherein he generated a new form of energy-containing molecule known as the adenine riboheptaphosphine. In his plasma form, Johnny's body loses its solid state, and many projectiles that could survive his body heat could seamlessly pass through his phasing body. Number 6. Heat immunity. Considering that his name is the Human Torch, it goes without saying that he exerts control over heat and fire. This control means that he is also immune to heat, both from within his body and external sources. This ability gives him an advantage over his opponents, as he could remain unharmed in situations where others would be burned to a crisp. This power stems directly from the fact that he could turn his body mass into superheated plasma, which helped him remain unaffected by fires. However, the ultimate version of Johnny Storm from Earth 1610 had a different strategy to deal with fires, and he used a layer of microscopic transparent plates over his skin. These plates were fireproof, and they helped his body remain unscathed, and they would regenerate every day to keep him safe. In this universe, Johnny could possibly burn his entire body if his protective plates didn't regenerate, but such a thing never happened to him. Number 7. Plasma blasts. Besides creating flames, the Human Torch can use his plasma powers to generate and project plasma energy blasts. These blasts have unimaginable energy levels and are highly destructive weapons that can cause a great deal of harm to his opponents, even from a distance. 8. Flight. When Johnny Storm's body is on fire, he is typically surrounded by a cloud of monoatomic hydrogen that is released by his plasma. This molecular compound allows him to float in the air, and he channels this power by maneuvering a flame jet under his feet. This makes it easy for him to fly around with great speed, and he can typically fly at a speed of up to 140 miles per hour. Under exceptional circumstances, this speed could be further enhanced to supersonic speeds that could match the Silver Surfer's abilities. After Dr. Doom overloaded him with cosmic energy, Johnny's flight speed was enhanced to a point where he traveled from Earth to the planet of Spire in barely any time at all. In the Ultimate Universe, Johnny's flight is powered by his ability to become lighter than air, and not just due to combustion like his regular 616 version. Besides flight, the concussive blasts of heat fired by his flame jet could also be weaponized to injure his opponents or carry up to 180 pounds while flying around. Number 9. Thermal manipulation. The Human Torch's fiery powers helped him gain the ability to manipulate the temperature of his surroundings. His thermal manipulation abilities extend to the point where he can heat objects to reach an extreme temperature or even cool them down in mere seconds. He often relies on this ability to change his immediate surroundings to his benefit, and he's capable of thermal manipulation even when he isn't aflame. Besides lowering and increasing his environment's temperature, Johnny can also extinguish open fires by simply absorbing them into his body. 10. Enhanced reflexes and agility. While most of the points so far shed light on the underrated abilities that come with Johnny's flame powers, he has enhanced reflexes and agility in addition to his fiery anatomy. He can move in a matter of seconds during an attack, and his heightened agility also allows him to defend himself in any combat situation. He often shows off these powers by performing acrobatic maneuvers and flying around effortlessly. Number 11, cold resistance. To top it all off, Jonathan Storm's body is incredibly resistant to cold weather, even in the most extreme temperatures. He once traveled to Antarctica in barely a jacket, a bathing suit, and some boots, and he also plunged into the icy cold water without feeling any discomfort. Marvelous verdict! With that, we've explored some of Johnny Storm's most underrated abilities, which make him an absolute force of nature, ranging from his pyrokinetic abilities and everything that comes with them, to the other powers such as flight and enhanced reflexes. He's truly a powerhouse for the Fantastic Four. We hope you enjoyed exploring Johnny Storm with us, but we want to know your thoughts about him in the comments section down below. This is Wheezy249 signing off, but if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Otherwise, thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.